Good morning, students. Today we'll discuss about the third type of tissue, which is muscular tissue. As the muscular tissue consists of elongated and contractile cells, so it is also called as muscle cells or myocytes. And each of the muscle is made up of many long and cylindrical fibers arranged in parallel arrays. These fibers are composed of numerous fine fibrils called myofibrils. Muscle fibers contract in response to stimulation and then relax and return to their uncontracted state in a coordinated fashion. So, the muscle cell, the muscle fiber is having the specific property of contractibility and relaxability, due to which they are able to contract and relax according to their role performed by the muscular tissue in a coordinated fashion. Their action moves the body to adjust to the changes in the environment and to maintain the positions of the various parts of the body. So, in general, muscles play an active role in all the movements of the body. So, muscles, they are of three types. The first one is of skeletal muscle, second one visceral muscle, and the third one cardiac muscle. Now, we'll discuss about the first category, which is skeletal muscle, or also called as striated muscle. It is also known as stride muscle. It is also known by voluntary muscle and fast muscle. It is closely attached to the skeletal bones, so its name is also called as skeletal muscle. In a typical muscle such as the biceps, striated or striped skeletal muscle fibers are bundled together in a parallel fashion. A sheet of tough connective tissue encloses several bundles of muscle fibers. So these muscle fibers or cells show transverse dark and light striations or bands, due to which these are called striped or striated muscles. So as we may observe the diagram showing the striated muscle fiber or skeletal muscle fiber. So each striated muscle cell or fiber is a long, cylindrical in shape, non-tapering, means it is not pointed at both ends, means it is non-tapering, unbranched and multinucleated. We may observe the nucleus present, and it consists of a thin outer limiting membrane called as sarcolemma, which encloses a cenocytic plasma known as sarcoplasm. So means it is having more than one nucleus per cell, so it is called as cenocytic in nature. The nuclei, they are many and they are peripheral in position. In the sarcoplasm of the muscle cell are embedded a large number of contractile elements called myofibrils running parallel to one another lengthwise. So, in this muscle category, we may also observe that these muscle fibers or cells, they show transverse striations of alternate light and dark bands, due to which it is also called as striped muscle or striated muscle fiber. And as it works according to our own will, so it is also known as voluntary muscle fiber. And as its rhythmicity can be increased according to our own will, so it can be also categorized as fast muscle. Now we'll discuss the next category, which is called as visceral muscle, as it is also known as unstriped muscle or also known as unstriated, also known by involuntary muscle or slow muscle. The cell structure of this muscle fiber is relatively simple as the cells or fibers taper at both ends, means it is fusiform shaped, or we can say spindle shaped, or in simple general terms we may say pointed at both ends. So as we may observe in the diagram showing the smooth muscle fiber, which we can observe it is fusiform shaped, means spindle in nature. A spindle shaped means tapering at both the ends. So both the ends we can easily observe they are having tapering ends. So as the smooth muscle, they do not show striations or alternate light and dark bands. Cell junctions held them together and they are bundled together in a connective tissue sheet. Each muscle fiber contains a single oval nucleus in its thick middle part. So as we may observe, the nucleus is present at the center of the cell, which is oval in shape. In the cytoplasm, the myofibrils are arranged longitudinally. For example, in the wall of internal organs such as the blood vessels, the stomach, intestine, these are the different areas where this type of muscle is present, and as they are not under the control of person's will, so they are also called as involuntary muscle as their functioning cannot be directly controlled. Now we'll discuss about the third muscle fiber, which is called as cardiac muscle or heart muscle. So as the name suggests, this type of muscle is present within our heart. So it is a contractile tissue present only in the heart. The cardiac muscle fibers shows the characters of both unstriped and striped muscle fibers. So it shows the property of both skeletal and visceral muscle fiber. Each fiber is a long and cylindrical structure which has a definite sarcolemma. The fibers are uninucleate and the nuclei lie near the center. Cell junctions fuse the plasma membrane of cardiac muscle cells and makes them stick together. Communication junctions, which are intercalated discs at some fusion points, allow the cells to contract as a unit. So that is when one cell receives a signal to contract, its neighbors are also stimulated to contract. So as we can observe the structure of the cardiac or heart muscle, we can observe it is cylindrical in shape and showing faint striations, means faint dark and light bands are present which alternate with each other. So it is involuntary in nature. So we can say its some features resembles to the skeletal muscle and some it shows the property with the visceral muscles. As the cardiac muscle fibers have some special features like the muscle fibers, they are supplied with both the central and autonomic nervous system and are not under the control of the individual animal. So it is involuntary in nature. The second property we may assign, these muscles, they do never get fatigued. And the third specific property we may enlist that these blood capillaries penetrate the cardiac muscle fibers, hence they are very rich blood supply. And fourth, one more property we may assign that these fibers, they have the property of contraction even when they are isolated from the body temporarily, then also they show the specific property of contraction. So we may go through the differentiation part between the striated, unstriated and cardiac muscle. As do we have discussed, the striated muscle or the stride muscle fiber, they are voluntary or also called as skeletal muscle, whereas on the other hand, unstriated muscle, they are involuntary or smooth or plain. Whereas the cardiac muscles, they are also called as heart muscles. In the case of striated muscles, sarcolemma is present, whereas in the case of unstriated muscle, sarcolemma is delicate and transparent. And in cardiac muscle, sarcolemma is present. In the case of striated muscle, myofibrils in sarcoplasm are distinct and cross-striated, whereas myofibrils are indistinct and not cross-striated in the case of unstriated muscle or a smooth muscle fiber. In the case of cardiac muscle fiber, myofibrils are distinct and faintly striated. The fourth point, fibers or cells are unbranched in the case of striated muscle, whereas it is unbranched in the same way in the case of unstriated muscle fiber, but in the case of heart muscle fibers, they are branched. Do we have discussed the nucleus? There are many in each cell in the case of striated muscle, and there is single nucleus in the case of unstriated muscle, and also in the case of heart muscle, single nucleus is present. If you go for the presence of intercalated disc, they are absent in the case of striated muscle fiber, as well as in the case of unstriated muscle fiber also they are absent, but in the case of heart muscle, intercalated discs are present. In the case of the contraction property, the striated muscle, as do we have discussed, they are called as fast muscle also because we can increase its contractibility and relaxability. So they show rapid and powerful contraction, whereas in the case of unstriated muscle, they show slow and rhythmic contraction. But in the case of cardiac muscle fiber, the contraction is moderate and rhythmic. Now we'll discuss the fourth type of animal tissue, which is called as neural tissue. As a tissue which is having the specialized function for receiving and transmitting the messages in our body is the nervous tissue. The brain, the spinal cord, and nerves are all formed of the nervous tissues. The nervous tissue is composed of specialized cells or called neurons. So we can say neural tissue, it is specialized to have the receiving power of the stimulus and conducts impulses for controlling and coordinating body functions. Hence exerts the greatest control over the body's responsiveness to changing conditions. Neurons, the unit, the structural and functional unit of the nervous system, are excitable cells. The neuroglial cells, which constitutes the rest of the neural system, protect and support neurons. So neuroglia make up more than half of the volume of neural tissue in our body. So as we can observe the structure of a neuron or a nerve cell. As neurons, they are the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. These are excitable cells. A neuron consists of a cell body, or also called as cytone or soma, and fine protoplasmic processes called neurites arising from the cell body. So cytone, it contains the neuroplasm, which is the cytoplasm, and a spherical nucleus, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, Golgi bodies, ribosomes, lysosomes, fat globules, and Nissl granules, etc. The Nissl granules, they are probably involved in the synthesis of proteins which are present within the cell body. As the neurites are concerned, the processes arising from the neurons are called as neurites. So these are dendrites and an long unbranched structure called axon. Axon is single, but dendrites may vary from one to several. The dendrites are usually shorter and tapering processes. So the axon is usually a long process of uniform thickness. So when an axon is covered by an myelin sheath, then it is called as myelinated or medullated nerve fiber. The myelin, it contains the lipids, proteins and water. The medullary sheath or the myelin sheath, it serves as an insulating layer, preventing loss of energy of the nerve impulse during its passage along the fiber. Whereas a non-modulated or non-myelinated fiber consists of an axon in which myelin sheath is not present. It lacks the myelin sheath and appears gray in the fresh state, whereas due to presence of myelin sheath, the nerve fiber appears whitish in color. So, whenever a neuron is suitably stimulated, an electrical disturbance is generated which swiftly travels along its plasma membrane. An arrival of the disturbance at the neuron endings or output zone triggers events that may cause stimulation or inhibition of the adjacent neurons and other cells. So, as for the functions are concerned, we may assign the functions or enlist the functions of the nervous tissue as the neural tissue. It helps to coordinate and control the functioning of different parts of the body. Second point, do we may write the sensation of smell, vision, taste, hearing, pain, pleasure, etc. They all are performed through the nervous tissue. The third point, do we may list the neural tissue helps in meditating conscious activities. The fourth point, we may list the information about the changes in various internal structures is provided by the nerves. The fifth point, the tissue is also a seat of experiences, memories, etc. The next point, do we may write about it makes us aware about the environment around us, as well as it also helps to bring about an appropriate response to each and every stimulus. So, till so far here, thank you. Have a nice day.